enemies, trials and troubles, I will be still surviving. Through my pain and times of sorrow, I will be still surviving. Be it family, stress with enemies, or addiction, I will be still surviving. With God on my side, forever will I remain still surviving.
Welcome to Still Surviving. I'm your host, Gigi Blackshear. Our guest has an amazing story of what it means to be an overcomer.
In the midst of helping everyone else, I failed to help myself.
Because their reaction is never as bad as we make it out to be in our mind.
And I know that it is not for us to carry.
I typically tell them the only thing you've got to change is everything.
Let people know that there is a life after.
A better you, a stronger you, you're going to see a fighter when you come out of the other side.
A overcomer, a survivor, and a victor.
To me, to myself, I am a conqueror.
Still surviving.
Please welcome to our show, Amber Donley. Amber, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, we love having you. Please tell our audience, who is Amber Donley and what is your survival story?
And of course, that's a loaded question. But the reality is, I'm a statistic who's been able to defy the odds.
Yes.
I'm an overcomer who's been able to blaze a trail for myself and my family. And I say that because I'm the product of a single mother who raised 9 kids, and I'm 8 out of the 9. So we could have a reality show. My mother did not have a high school education. She worked hard as a custodian when I was growing up. And for me, seeing her work hard, that helped me, but I did not see people who were wildly successful. I did not see people in my family who were educated. So I have been blessed to become the first college graduate in my family.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
So from your mother, you got that work ethic.
Absolutely.
Work ethic.
Absolutely. She got up every morning to go to work and came home every evening and would cook and take care of the family. And so seeing that in my life helped me develop my own work ethic and realize that whatever I wanted in life, I could ascertain, but I would have to work hard for it. No one was going to give me anything.
Yes. And I imagine for her that was challenging, 9 children.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Single-handedly. Raising kids. And she is an overcomer.
Yes.
In her own right, to be able to take care of the household, to act as mother and father for all of her kids, and be the provider.
And you said you were number 8 out of 9.
I am number 8, so they call me the baby girl. I have a younger brother.
Yes.
And my family, we're definitely an interesting bunch when we get together. But for me, as a child growing up in that environment, I wasn't a singer, I wasn't a dancer, I wasn't Miss Popularity, but I was a nerd. So I worked hard in school. And when I was in elementary school, even though I didn't see it in my life, I said, you know what, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer.
Wow. Where do you think that came from?
I really think it comes from just watching TV. I remember one of my favorite shows was A Different World.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go to Hillman.
That was a great show.
Yes, it was a great show. And it really inspired a lot of people to dream outside of their environment.
Yes.
And I think I was one of those folks. And so I didn't attend Hillman, but I did attend Bethune-Cookman University. So, an actual HBCU. And I pursued a bachelor's degree in education. And I worked as a teacher in Title I schools, helping students who were like me growing up to be able to make a difference in their lives and let them know that despite their current circumstances, they could come out of that and be even stronger on the other side of it if they worked hard and if they were focused and if they strove for something greater than what they saw.
So wait a minute, now there was a shift because you said initially you wanted to be an attorney.
Yes.
But you went into education. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So for me, even though at home I didn't have anyone who had graduated from college, my teachers were so impactful,
Yes.
so encouraging, so motivating. And so I knew the impact they had on me. So even if though it was temporary, I wanted to be able to give back to young kids in a meaningful way.
Positive way. And that's the power of setting a good example.
Absolutely.
Yes, we need those people to speak into the lives of young people to help them to find their way.
And we need people who are passionate about education, because
Yes.
you can shift someone's life
Mm-hmm.
by being a teacher for those 10 months and set them on a trajectory that they didn't even anticipate.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do as an educator, because that was a part of my journey and story, having teachers. And so I did it for 5 years. I taught for 5 years in Title I schools. And 1 year I did a project with my students, because I always wanted them thinking about the future. So we're going to do a career project. So you need to research the career that you want to do when you grow up. You need to create a PowerPoint presentation about the career, and then you need to present it to the class. And I had one student, Michael Williams, I still remember. He said, when you were our age, what did you say you wanted to do? And a switch went off.
Wow.
And took me back to when I was in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, and I had told everyone that I would grow up to be a lawyer. And so I shared with him, I said, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I was like, I still can. After that year, I started preparing for the LSAT, which is the test you have to take to be admitted to law school. I resigned from my job, moved my family to Jacksonville to pursue my lifelong dream of becoming a lawyer.
That took great courage.
It did. And I really didn't think about it, because if I probably would have stopped to think about it, I would have changed my mind, because the bills were there, the responsibilities were there. But something went off, something exploded when Michael Williams said, well, when you were our age, what was it that you wanted to do? And so I completely focused on that.
The seed was already there. He just poured some water on it.
He did.
Yes.
He did. And it ignited something in me that I have not stopped since then. So I moved here, not knowing what my career would be other than a lawyer, but I moved here, attended Florida Coastal for 3 years, graduated with my Juris Doctor. So not only am I the first college graduate, I'm the first lawyer in my family. I passed the bar exam the first time as a mother, and I really made it happen. And now, fast forward almost 9 years, I own my own law firm.
Wow.
I own Donley Law Firm, which is in Orange Park, Florida. This summer, I purchased my first commercial building for my law firm. I hired my first paralegal who's working for my law firm, and I have the desire to hire my first associate in the next few months. And so when I think back to where I started, people discounted me.
Wow.
I remember my mom telling me after I graduated from college, someone told her that none of her kids would do anything.
Wow.
That's something to tell a mother.
It really is.
We would call those fighting words.
Yeah.
We would call those fighting words. And to just see how proud my mother is, she's so proud of me.
Yes.
And then the example that I can provide for my children to let them know that your beginning does not dictate your end.
That is absolutely wonderful. So Amber, let me ask you, what would you say to someone that is trying to figure it out? What is it I want to do? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to take my life? What would you say to that person that may be stuck and may not know what direction to take? What would you say to that person?
I will say, first and foremost, we all have a purpose. We all have gifts. And we have things that make us unique. We're all fearfully and wonderfully made. And sometimes we probably just have to get away to quiet out all the noise and the distractions to hear from our Creator about what we've been placed on this earth to do. And it probably stems from gifts you already have, things you already like to do. Things people always said, oh, you're really good at this.
Yes.
You're really good at that. Or even it may take you going back to, what was it I wanted to do when I was a kid and I didn't have all these bills and responsibilities?
Yes.
When I could just be free to dream about the future. And start there. And start taking the time to delve into it and find out more information. So if your path is the legal profession, what does it take to get there? If you're really good at sewing or crafting or creating bottles, what does it take to be able to make that into a business? And take the steps necessary. And don't be afraid. You have to be fearless.
You have to be
when
fearless.
You're following your purpose and you're on your path to wherever it is our Creator wants you to be, it's not easy.
Yeah, that courage, it goes back to
It goes back to courage. Because no one could have told me when I was in elementary school, even though I was saying I wanted to be a lawyer, I didn't know how it would happen. And I was just being a kid who wanted to do something ambitious. Yeah. But it's been taking a lot of work to get to where I am. Yes. So once you find your purpose, put in the work.
Do the work.
Do the work. And don't expect anybody to do it for you. And so there are times when I'm working long hours.
Yes.
There are times where I miss out on things with the family, but I know it's for a greater purpose, because those people who come to me in search of assistance with some really deep matters, I know they're being sent to me because I prayed for them.
Yes, and you're able to help.
And I'm able to help.
Amber, thank you so much for sharing your story with our audience. We'll be back in just a moment with more from Amber Donley.
Still surviving.
We're back with Amber Donley. Amber, please tell our audience what's next for Amber Donley.
What's next for me, and this is me speaking like I did when I was a kid, I'm going to be a judge.
Yes.
I am going to be the Honorable Amber Donley.
I believe it too.
Thank you. Thank you. But in the meantime,
yes,
I'll be serving people in Duval, Nassau, and Clay County when it comes to their legal issues in family law, probate, guardianship, and estate planning, and be able to make a difference in my community through leadership work and community work as well.
So please tell our audience how they can get in touch with you. If they're interested in your services, they may need to contact you.
Yes. So again, my name is Amber Donley. I'm the proud owner of Donley Law Firm, which is located in Orange Park. My phone number is 904-515-2093. And my website is donleylawfirm.com. And Donley is spelled Donley, donleylawfirm.com.
Attorney Donley, thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing your story with our audience. And we look forward to seeing your judgeship coming soon. Thank you again. God bless you. We'll be back with Christian psychologist Dr. Deborah Eichelberger in just a moment.
Still surviving.
We're back with Dr. Deborah Eichelberger. Dr. Deborah, welcome back to our show.
Thank you for having me.
After listening to Amber's story of being number 8 in 9 children and growing up in a home with a single mother and still be able to accomplish that dream that she had as a child to become an attorney, that was an amazing story.
Absolutely.
It speaks to what she said, being an overcomer, but it also speaks to perseverance.
Yes.
I imagine there were challenges all along the way, all along that path.
Absolutely. I think one of the main things that her story teaches us is that if we can find the power within ourselves to accomplish the things that we believe that we can accomplish, we are only limited by what it is that we think.
Yes.
Many times there are people that start with less than. We know in our general system that children who are in poverty, they do start off at a disadvantage. That's why around the nation we have the Head Start program, which is to try and help to bring them up to the same level as other children at their stage. But it does not mean they cannot achieve. You might not achieve at the same time as someone else, but it does not mean that you cannot achieve the same things.
Right, you may have challenges, there may be limitations, but if you persevere, if you push through,
absolutely,
that you can achieve, have the same measure of success.
Absolutely.
You know, for a young person, that sounds like such a lofty goal, you know, as a child, to say, oh, you know, I'm going to be this great thing.
Yes.
And along the path, life can kind of beat you down.
Absolutely.
if you don't have some encouragement along the way. One of the things that Amber talked about was the teachers in her life that set good examples for her. And you know, especially as educators, when you have those children, their lives are in your hand for whatever span of time that they are in your presence and they're in your classroom. You have the ability to make a difference in their lives in a negative way or as well as a positive way.
Absolutely.
So educators have to really take to heart the responsibility that comes with having those young people, because at that moment, at that time, you're able to shape their minds and put them on a path to success.
And not only are teachers important, but our entire system has to recognize the importance of mental health counseling even in schools, starting from elementary schools, because a lot of our children are dealing with very traumatic situations that can derail them from a path where they really could have gone forward. We know so many children who have these goals and dreams of being great things in life, but because of things that happen in their society, things that happen in their environment, things that happen at home, completely destroy the fabric of who they are, and they cannot reach those goals that they were meant to reach. So our teachers serve a very valid purpose, but they are not therapists, and it should not be their responsibility to try and help our children with their mental issues or with any of the trauma or with any of the shortcomings that they have. They should be the resource to connect them to what it is that they truly need. I feel that our justice system spends so much time focusing on punitive services versus rehabilitative services. And it's the same thing with schools. The teachers have so much to do from an education perspective that they don't have the time to give that care that they would love to give to their children. So there has to be others that take up that slack. And that's why we need much more emphasis on mental health services, because Amber's story is amazing, but that comes from the mentorship that she had throughout her life. All of our children don't have that story. And if we could put more emphasis into that area, we would see a major difference and a major shift.
One of the blessings of Amber's story is that she has had the experience of being an educator.
Yes.
And then moving into the law field, into the legal field, and then aspiring then to be a judge and possibly be able to make a difference in our legal system. Yes. So it shows that path, how grand it can be.
And I truly hope that she gets to judgeship, because she has the empathy that's needed, that is missing a lot in our criminal justice system. People who go straight from law school into law never get to really be amongst the people in a different way. And so gaining that empathy and that understanding of where people are truly coming from, then you're less likely to say, well, you should have known better. Because you don't always know better, and you don't understand what circumstances could have led a person to this type of behavior, especially in the juvenile courts. We are too punitive on our children. We need to understand what is happening from all aspects of them that would lead to the behavior that we're seeing at that point.
And ultimately, it goes back to, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely. From
the part of the story of Amber's mother being a hard worker and working really hard to take care of her children and support her family, to then going to teachers in the classroom and all of those people that children come in contact throughout their lives. It does indeed take a village to raise a child.
It absolutely does.
Dr. Deborah, thank you so much
for
coming on our show.
I appreciate it.
If you are someone you know is experiencing any kind of challenges, look around you and reach out for help. It does indeed take a village to raise a child, and there is help available. We have to be willing to ask for and seek out help, and we also have to be willing to avail ourselves to be that help and to be able to speak into someone else's life. Again, it takes a village to raise a child. Thank you so much for watching our show.
Be still surviving. Through my pain and times of sorrow, I will be still surviving. Be it family, stress with enemies, or addiction, I will be still surviving. With God on my side, forever will I remain still surviving.